And we're back. Tyler Brown from the Bryant Law Center is here with me, and we're going to answer those criminal questions that you've sent in to see if maybe they can help you out. You ready, Tyler?
Oh, yes, I'm ready.
All right. So the first question says, a detective called me about someone who accused me of a theft and wanted me to meet with them to talk about it. Do I have to speak to them?
Okay, that's a good question. What I would advise, one, just to answer the question quickly, no, you're not necessarily obligated to speak to them. What I would suggest that you do is immediately contact a defense attorney. You can contact us, any other criminal defense attorney, and speak to an attorney before you agree to sit down and speak to a detective or law enforcement officer. It's your Fifth Amendment right not to incriminate yourself. Also to have an attorney present for any questioning. So it's one of those things, once you sit down with a defense attorney, you can go over what issues that you have, what the case is about, what statements that you could or couldn't make, and have a discussion with them. If you still insisted, if you wanted to go and sit with the detectives, you have a right to have your attorney present during that questioning, and that can be very helpful. So you have those rights. Everybody does, and that's not dependent on whether or not you've hired an attorney. You can invoke those rights at any point if you're questioned by law enforcement. So definitely, if they're wanting to sit down with you, you want to reach out to a criminal defense attorney first, talk about the case, talk about your rights, and have them present with you if you do decide to go forward with questioning. So it's very important.
Okay. All right, our next caller wants to know, I want to have a low-level felony expunged from my record from about 10 years ago, but I recently pled guilty to a traffic offense that was a misdemeanor. Is this going to affect my ability to get that felony expunged?
There's good news and there's bad news here. Is it going to affect your ability to get it expunged? Yes, but it's not going to bar you forever. Kentucky is one example I can clearly describe to you. If you've got, like, say, a Class D felony that's eligible for expungement, and you meet the time frame, you've met all the requirements, and you've recently, if you've entered a plea agreement to a misdemeanor or been found guilty of a misdemeanor, what that's going to do is set you back at a certain time period. Usually it's 5 years. You have to have a clean record. You can't have anything pending. You can't be on probation, and whether that's a misdemeanor or another felony, before you can apply for expungement. So what this would do, the 10-year period sounds like you'd be eligible for expungement, but with this misdemeanor conviction, you're probably going to have to wait at least another 5 years, depending on the circumstances, before you can apply. You can ultimately probably get it expunged if it qualifies, but you're just going to have to wait longer. And so that's why it's important, even with a misdemeanor offense, even if it's a traffic offense, talk to an attorney, because it can have ramifications beyond this. If this was a life goal for you to get this expunged, that's going to set you back a significant period of time. So before you do anything in court, you want to talk to your attorney first.
So it's always good to get that second opinion or somebody that knows, because we think sometimes we know and we don't. So
there's just a lot of things. There's what they would call collateral consequences that may not be explained to you in court, but you're going to run up against later. And that's why you want to talk to an attorney, because they can explain these things beyond what a plea agreement or result is, how it's going to affect your life later.
Perfect. Thank you for your information today. You're always a wealth of knowledge, Tyler. If you would like to revisit this segment of Legal Line, log on to WPSDLocal6.com/Legal Line.